Hello, my name is Ian Decker and I'm a Math Corps Fellow with Minnesota Reading Corps and Minnesota Math Corps. This video will walk you through the process of filling out a timesheet. During the year, you will sign in and out every day at your site as instructed by your internal coach. You will need to transfer these records to an electronic timesheet through OnCorps and submit them to your internal coach for approval every 2 weeks. Most importantly, timesheets must be submitted with at least some allowable hours and approved by the deadlines in order for you to receive your living allowance. As such, it is important that you keep track of your timesheet deadlines and submit your timesheets on time. You can find your position-specific living allowance info, including submissions and pay schedules, on your information page. You'll submit your timesheets through an online portal called OnCorps Reports. If this is your first time logging into OnCorps, you're going to want to have your information page on hand, as it contains specific information that you'll need to log in. To access your timesheets, first open up a web browser and go to mn.oncorreports.com. In the right, you will see a drop-down menu above the Submit button that lists program years. Make sure your program year is selected and click Submit. You will see a list of AmeriCorps programs in the state. Notice that for Reading Corps and Math Corps, there are several options listed. Please check your information page to see which specific option you should select. Find your specific program and click on the link labeled AmeriCorps Member for that program. You'll be brought to a login page. Your initial login info can be found on your information page. Enter your username and password into the boxes and click Login. If you have forgotten your information, you can have it emailed to you by putting your email in the box below. If you experience other issues, double-check that you are in the correct program year, the correct program, and that you have selected AmeriCorps Member. If all of those pieces are correct and you are still having problems, please contact your program manager for further assistance. Once you're in, you'll need to hover your cursor over the Time Tracking tab at the top. Select Enter Timesheets from the menu that drops down. You'll be brought to a page where there is another drop-down box to select the correct 2-week pay period for the hours you are submitting. Find the period where you served your hours and select it. If, for example, I was filling out my timesheet on May 18th for the previous week, I would select May 13th through May 26th as the period, since the week I'm working on falls within those dates. The due date is shown at the top of the timesheet. Some of you may have the option of selecting which supervisor you submit the timesheet to. Usually, you should select the checkbox that is for your internal coach and not your master coach. If you are unsure to whom you should submit your timesheet, ask your program manager. All of your hours will fall into 4 different categories to be recorded in OnCorps. Those 4 categories are training, service at site, supplemental service at site, and civic engagement. Each category has its own column. Each day on the timesheet has its own row. Be sure to put the information in the correct column and row. All civic engagement service hours and any training hours that are not sponsored by Reading Corps or Math Corps require a pre-approved service opportunity request. For information on how to submit and properly document a service opportunity request, please refer to the service opportunity request video included in this module. Hours should be rounded to the nearest quarter hour. In order to make sure that your timesheet is as accurate as possible, we recommend that you fill out your hours for the day every day or 2 throughout the pay period. Make sure that you save your hours every time you enter them into your timesheet. The Save button can be found at the bottom of the page. Make sure that all required documentation is listed in the box underneath the specific day the hours were earned. At the beginning of your service term, before your consistent weekly schedule is set and approved, you'll need to document all of your service activities in the text box beneath each day on the timesheet. Your descriptions could include things such as assessing students, entering student demographic information into the appropriate database, preparing materials, or supporting the after-school program. After you submit your set weekly schedule and it has been approved by your program manager, any hours that are listed on your schedule no longer require a description on your timesheet. Any hours served that are not included on your approved schedule must still be described in the text box underneath the day that the additional hours were served. For example, imagine you have 6 hours of tutoring time and 1 hour of data entry and prep work listed on your approved weekly schedule. For most days, you follow your set schedule and record 7 hours of Math Corps service at site on your timesheet without adding descriptions of those hours to the text box beneath each day. One day, you stay 2 hours later to help welcome parents during a family engagement event. For that day, you would list 7 hours under Math Corps service at site for the hours that align with your regular schedule, and 2 hours would be listed under supplemental service at site for the time spent supporting the family event. You would only need to describe the 2 hours from the family event in the text box for that day because all other hours were already described on your approved timesheet. After you have served all the hours you plan to serve in a given timesheet period, you can submit the timesheet for approval. You should never record hours on your timesheet or submit hours on a timesheet before they have been served. To submit your timesheet, Click on Authorize and Submit at the bottom of your timesheet. Make sure to push OK in the pop-up dialog box to finish sending your timesheet to be authorized. Always be sure to log out of OnCorps when you are done using it for the day so that your information is secure. Hopefully you found this video to be helpful. Any further questions about timesheets should be directed to your program manager. Thank you for your service and all you do for our students.